Sarge here. What we're going to talk about today, this is going to be another episode to guns that I want. The first gun that we're going to go over is going to be the Glock 43 or the 43x. We're kind of going to do a little bit of a versus. I kind of like having a bit of the smaller frame pistols, especially for carrying with like an ulti-clip and basketball shorts, or even as a secondary option, and having one of those smaller frame lighter pistols that can hold 6, 7, 8 rounds or whatever is really pretty impressive. Especially when it stays on the lighter side. That's why I kind of started looking at the P365 as well, because you get 10 or 12 rounds in the gun and it's still insanely light. And I've shot the P365. I've held it a bunch of times. I have ran it. I don't think I've carried it at all. I think I've just shot students at the range, but I don't think I ever put it in a holster to see what it felt like. When we look at guns like that, the only thing that kind of worries me is like the P365, I think is on its like 5th or 6th generation of them, right? Are all the bugs worked out? And it's kind of what I care most about, because a lot of the guns that I use as backup guns, they do not get shot that much. And when I say not shot that much, I might shoot the magazine, obviously, that's in it once every 3 to 6 months. And that is it. That's all it gets shot. It's not shot as much as my everyday carry or as my instructor pistol. It's just not. Okay, and then that's because I try to have my everyday carry pistol or that instructor pistol match my backup gun. Meaning, so like if my everyday carry is a P22 or a P220 trimmed in 10mm, right, has that double action trigger. Well, my backup gun with it is my revolver, which has a double action trigger. So it's not really like I'm changing too much in that mindset. You should be able to shoot anything as long as there's a grip, trigger, and a sight. Okay, that's just my kind of opinion with it. But what do you guys think about, would you guys rather have the Glock 43, which is the single stack, slimline, 6-round gun, or the 43X, which is a little bit longer? It mimics the similar dimensions and height-wise as the Glock 19. Not in length, because it has the Glock 43 slide, but the grip is almost the same height-wise as a Glock 19, but it's a little thinner. Would you all rather have that and have that Glock reliability? I don't care what people say. Glock has a known reliability factor that other companies do not. Also, the aftermarket side. I like being able to go and buy a bunch of extra parts for my firearms, so that way if something happens to it, I don't have to worry about sending it back to a manufacturer. So that way if something happens to it, I can fix it myself. So I can decide when the maintenance procedures are going to come up. Not, okay, well, hey, I don't know where to find a extra, X, Y, or Z for the P365, so I'll have to call the Sig customer service whenever I get a free second. Now, what I will say, because I did look around before filming this, the P365 is almost there on custom side, meaning the custom frames are pretty cool. And I'll try to find some pictures and show them to you guys. But they basically have made it the single stack version of the P320, where you can get those custom frames. You can get built slides, but look at the cost of them. Compared to the same cost-wise on the Glocks. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. Is the P365 the gun of the future? Meaning, is it going to be kind of the trademark carry pistol going forward? Because I know a lot of guys in the industry that do carry them, and they do speak very highly of them. Now, those individuals didn't pay for the pistol, it was sent to them. So I just don't know, can I trust every single positive thing that I hear about it when I've also seen them fail? I've seen major issues happen with them, and we've even read about them too, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, right? So the Glock series or the Sig, which one would you guys rather have? And then I'll post some pictures throughout, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of different size things, and then some of the different aftermarket options that maybe you could do. So that's the first one, right? So go ahead, go down in the comments and talk about whether you would much rather have the Glock 43 or 43X compared to the P365 or the P365XL. Okay, go ahead and do that now. A big thing with the 43X, before I move on, the shield arms mags. With the shield arms mags, you can actually get 15 rounds in the gun, which is pretty impressive, okay, especially with how thin the gun is. But does that outweigh it still being a little bit bigger than the P365 with that 12 and 15 round mag? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, guys. The second one that I want to talk to, I guess it'd technically be the third one, but the second segment to this that I'd like to talk about, I am a big revolver guy, right? Pretty big fan of them, like them quite a bit, and I have been looking at getting into a Elmer Keith mindset with revolvers, okay? And for you guys that don't know Elmer Keith, I'm gonna butcher his history because I'm sure I don't even have a good grasp on it. But basically, he was the guy that went around to different gun companies and different ammunition companies and kind of pushed them to make some of the Magnum rounds that we know today. So 357 Magnum, 41 Magnum, and 44 Magnum. We have him to thank for that. He also was a big advocate for hunting with a handgun, right? And his carry gun, to my understanding, was a 4-inch, or one of them. I'm sure he was like all of us and had 100 different carry guns. But a 4-inch Model 29 44 Magnum. So I'm on the hunt for one, right? What do you guys think, application-wise, in today's world, today's market? What applications could a 4-inch, 6-shot, 44 Magnum revolver have compared to everything else that's out there? And I'm not even going to really use it for any sort of self-defense application, just being 100% honest with you. I have other guns for that, right? I have my Glocks, I have my P220, I have other guns for that, okay? So it's not going to fill necessarily that role. However, it could. I'm looking more along the lines of taking it out on hunts, right? Using it as that woods gun. Is there something else out there that's better, right? And why the 44 Magnum? When I was looking at some of the bigger rounds, I just saw the 44 Magnum kind of being a little bit more controllable in a sense than what I think it's 460 Xavier or 500 Smith and Wesson, right? That one was not going to happen, okay? But I just kind of saw that as being a good option. With 44 Specials, ballistically, from what I've seen across the board, is 44 Special ballistically matches 45 ACP to some extent. Sig Sauer has a lot of good ammunition out, and they make some pretty good 44 Magnum and 44 Special. So if I find a Model 29 4-inch, I will have some of that ammunition and we'll test it out. We'll see what kind of results we get, okay? But what do you guys think about getting a 44 Magnum revolver in today's climate? Is it any good, right? And is it any good to you guys? I'll tell you what I have noticed is 9mm, 40, and 45, they're sold out everywhere, right? I can go to every gun store that I normally go to today, and I can find 44 Magnum and 44 Special without having any issues. Okay, I can at least find at a minimum 100 rounds of each. Can you do that for any other round right now? So that's something to think about, right? And that's definitely a leading reason why I'm kind of looking towards it a tad bit. But you should always have something before you need it. And what I mean by that is, I didn't realize that, okay, ammunition's running out, let me go run out and buy some, right? I already had some. So we should always have that kind of stashed, not being used ammunition and then our range ammo. We shouldn't mix the two, okay? That's just something to, going forward, something to think about. So, all right, guys, that is it for this episode of Guns That I Want. We went over the Glock 43, 43X, and the P365 series. Like I talked about, let me know down in the comments which one you guys would rather go with and why, right? And then we went over personal of mine of the Model 29 and kind of the history of it with the Model 29. Would you guys rather have the 6, 8, or the 4-inch barrels, right? Does it really make that much of a difference for what you'd use it for? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, you can find me over at Instagram at Shooting with the Sarge. As always, guys, stay tuned for more. Sarge out.